Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a different type of video. I'm going to be doing a how-to on the Suzuki LTZ 400. I'm going to show you guys how to grease the bearings on your tires. So the tools you're going to need are right over here. You need a socket wrench, size is being, if you can see that, 11/16, 3/4. There it is, 3/4. Number 6 on the Allen wrench. This is the hexagon shape. Needle nose pliers, and preferably a knife or anything pointy. So I'm going to, you also need a jack. I have this thing locked down in place, so it's not moving backwards, so I'm completely safe to jack this thing up on the front. I'm going to do that, and then I will get back to you guys. Okay, so I've got my rig set up, and the first step is to loosen these 4 bolts right here, which I'm going to be using an 11/16 size on the socket wrench. So I've already loosened 2 of them. The easiest thing to do is just to kind of step on the tire and just pull up. And that's the easiest way for me to loosen these bolts. Should be the last one right here since I've already done the other 2. Alright, let's see. Loose, loose, and loose. So, I'm going to loosen these up some more so I can just get them off of my finger. There we go. It's 1. I'm going to just be storing these over on my left out of the camera view. Gotta save them, make sure I don't lose them. Make sure that when you're doing this, your jack is not holding the vehicle too high. Don't want to hurt the plate behind the wheels or anything like that. So I try not to jack it up till I have the wheel completely off. So now, get up a little bit and pull it off. So, there's the tire completely off. And then this little plate's gonna have to pop off too. It's right behind the tire. So we wheel the tire off to the side. And then make sure I keep handy the plate. So the next step after this is going to be to take off the brake right here. Take off the brakes. So to do this, you're gonna have to locate 2 black screws or bolts in the back and find them. So there's one right here, if you can see it, and then there's one right down here. So to undo those 2, you need to use the size 6 on your Allen wrench. And where is it? There it is. So this one's going to be a bit hard. I'll probably just speed up this because it's going to take a while. But you need to make sure that when you're unscrewing, you have to feel it like fit all the way in. So now, just going to have to loosen them. So I'll speed this process up. Or actually, I think I'm just going to turn the camera off and come back to you guys when I'm done so I don't waste too much battery on this thing. Okay, so after a bit of elbow grease, I've finally gotten these 2 bolts off. And now we can just grab this thing and it will pop right off. So I'm not exactly sure if this is just for the newer models, but it seems that these brakes pop off easier on the newer models, as in like the 2nd gen, so like 09 and up. But I could be wrong about that. So now that we have that off, the next thing is, let me move this over here, is to move on to this middle bolt right here. And to do that, let me go grab the required tools. Is a 3/4 size for the socket wrench and some needle nose pliers. So we're going to start off, make sure you guys can see this. We're going to grab, I forgot what this bolt's called, or this little, whatever this thing is. We're going to grab it though and just kind of pry it off. Pry it off. This was probably the hardest part of the entire thing. So that just kind of shows how easy this procedure is. These things are always annoying to get off, but if this is the hardest part, you just, it can't be too hard. pinch this, kind of just push it out till we can get it out enough to grab it from the top, like that. We gotta make sure it's not bent. Alright. And I'm just gonna fast forward through this, and then I'll get it out eventually. Okay, so after a lot of messing around with that thing, I mean, I think well, first of all, what did happen was while I was trying to pull it out, the piece actually broke, and I had to I had to mess around with like these things and just keep pulling it out. I mean, you can see this is one of the pieces. I mean, it broke quite a bit, but I did get it out. Here, I'll show you what I did do. Besides, because obviously it looks a lot different. Basically, this is what it looked like. Cotter pin was in here. And the bolt was on too, actually. What you're supposed to do is take the cotter pin out first, like I was doing, and then take the bolt off. For me, what I had to do was mess around. I took the bolt. Once it like broke, I just took the bolt off and then messed around with the cotter pin. But anyways, after you get the cotter pin and the bolt out, you know, you save your stuff, and then it should look like this. So after you get that cotter pin and unscrew the bolt, this piece should just slide off just like that, and then you can put that aside. So now that you've got all that done, that should be everything you need off of the ATV. So now I'm gonna bring this over here. We're gonna grab our stuff. We only need this piece, just the piece we just pulled off. I'm gonna take this over here, and we're going to put this on here. I'm gonna close the garage real quick. All right. So, what we're going to do here is, first we're going to start off on this side. We're going to start off like over here. And let me grab my tools real quick. You're going to need all of the stuff I'm grabbing right now. Okay. Okay. All right, good. So we're gonna need screwdriver, knife, and then obviously grease. First step is to pop out this little bearing right here. That should be coming out really easy. So if it doesn't, then there might be a problem there. Then you're gonna take your screwdriver and stick it under this little bearing right here. This little, it's like an O-ring. I don't know what it's called. I think maybe it is an O-ring, but it's basically keeping the thing waterproof. I'm gonna pry this little piece out right here. It's gonna be this part will be hard to pop out most likely, especially if this thing hasn't been greased in a while. The person we bought it from, I don't think they greased it recently. So after a bit of prying, there we go. Piece comes off. And now take a look inside. You should have, it's gonna be kind of hard to see. You can kind of see it here. There's another little piece there. We don't want to touch that bearing though. You just want to pop off the little rubber seal on the outer edge. So we're going to take our knife and put it between the bearing and the seal and pry up and pop that little seal out. And once we do that, you're going to see your bearings, or your little balls in the bearings. And we're going to grab our grease, and you do not have to be gentle. Just apply it around the area. Get a good bit in there. Get more. There we go. So once you get a good bit in there, just take your finger and kind of rub it around. Make sure you get a good bit of it in there. Put a little bit more on my finger. And just kind of put it in right here. I think quite enough. There we go. So once you get all of that nice and gooped up, you're going to, I'm going to wipe my hand off real quick first. And then you're going to take your seal. Oh, wrong one, sorry. You take your seal, and you're going to take that little white part and face it down. And you're going to pop that piece right in there just like that. So once you do that, don't worry about grease getting in there. In fact, you actually do want a bit. So take a bit more. Make sure everything's nice and you don't need too much there. I just put a little bit extra there because I want everything nice and lubed up. I'm gonna put our other seal back in, just like that. And we're going to grab some more of this stuff and just put it on the outer edge of this thing. Get that thing nice and cubed up, and then put it in the center, just like that. So once that's in there, take this light. You don't need this stuff. Just use it. Just kind of put that around the outside. All right. Now flip it over, and you got the backside. Backside. Pop bearing out. Same process. Pop this little O-ring piece out. It's the water seal. Thing it should be hard to pry out. Probably the hardest piece to pry out. That's how it was for me, especially on the other one. The other one, yeah, these things were pretty hard to get out. This one seems to be struggling a bit more. Let's face this light up some more. This thing's not going to come out very well. Here, I'm going to fast forward this and speed it up so I can. You guys don't have to watch me pop this thing out. Okay, so that right there is why you want to grease your bearings. That thing was a pain to get off. It took me another like 2 minutes. Love how once I start recording, I get like a bunch of problems, but did get it off. It's right here. No damage to it. Trying to get it off. Had to make sure I was being careful, even if I need to use force. So, anyways, just like the last one, last little seal. This one pops off nice and easy, and you can see there's still a bit. Can you see that? Yeah, there's still a bit of stuff on it, like right there. But there's not enough. It needs more. It's definitely hasn't had a nice greasing in quite a while. So we're gonna once again get a bunch of grease in there and swirl it around. And then I'm going to pop the seal back on. Remember, white side down. It's like silver. Pop that down. Make sure that's nice and good on there. And then take the seal and hollow side down. I don't think I said that for the last part, but it's pretty self-explanatory with how it looks. So hollow side down, just like that. Actually, you know what? Since this was so hard to get off, I am going to grease the outer edges of this thing. Last one was not hard to get off. This one was, so give it a little extra grease there. There we go. All right. Sorry, I did that off camera. All right. We're just gonna pop that piece in there, just like, there we go, just like that. This one is a tighter fit. That's probably why it was so dang hard to get off. Wipe our fingers off, and bearing. Get some stuff on the side of this. Okay. It's just enough to get all the way around it and pop it in just like that, and pop my knife closed. Use some white lithium. Is that what it says, right? Yeah, white lithium. Okay, I thought I was reading that wrong for a sec. Just gonna put it gently on the outer edges. It's like WD, well, it is WD-40. Oh, it is WD-40. Just put it on the outer edges. And then, it's kind of like, the extra. Jeez, I'm knocking everything over. clean off that outer side. Okay, so now that that is done, I'm going to take this thing back to the ATV, get the rig set up, and then I will show you guys how to put this back on. All right. Okay, so next step, really simple. Slide this thing right back on, just like that. Perfect. And after you get that on, you are going to grab, where did I put it? Right here. Okay. The brake. I'm gonna slide this thing right back into place, which is gonna be right here. Okay, so now I'm gonna pull my little screw box over here and grab our 2 screws. This one right here and this one right here. Okay, so now you're gonna line up here. I'll try to get the camera to show this actually. Right back here, you can see that they line up. Here, let me point to it right there. So that's gonna kind of pop up and line up with that hole right here. Just leave the camera right there so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna take the screw. Usually the top one's easier, and you can kind of see where it lines up, and then you just get started. So that one's in, and the bottom one is usually the harder part, at least for me. Line this up best you can. Oh, and this time I went in first try. Okay. So now that we've got those in, we're going to grab Allen wrench, and you're going to start tightening. Go. Actually, wait. Tighten it in my hand a little bit more. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna tighten this. This is probably the most annoying part of it all, because every time you tighten it and you take it out, right, nice and tight. Every time you take it out, you usually end up loosening it a little bit. But I don't know. For this tire, I have had a way harder time taking the pin out, a way harder time getting that other little like water seal thing out. But when it comes down to these 2 little black bolts here, I have had no issue getting them back on whatsoever. But I still hate this part so much. It's just annoying. I could have tightened this in like 3 turns, but I have to take like 20 of them because there's no room. So once you got your brake on there, nice and tight, make sure this thing's spinning. All right, we're good. So I'm gonna move you guys back over here. And the next step is to take this thing and pop that on like this. And then take your little middle bolt, pop that back on. And then, I should have done this in advance. I'll be right back. Okay, so camera died, but I got a new battery in it, and I am back out here. So I left off after putting the brake on. Going to then take this piece and slide it right back on like that. Should be fitting super easy. Then you're gonna take your washer and put that on, and then your bolts. And when you screw the bolts on, you're going to take your 3 1/4 bit and you put on your socket wrench, and then oh my thing just fell. There we go. Okay. You're going to wrong way. Tighten this thing up, but you don't want to tighten it up too much. Just enough for here. Let me take this thing off. Just enough so that when you're spinning it, it can spin. But you also, here I'll show the camera. You need to line up. Does that still spin? Yes. Okay. You need to line up. Here, let me just kind of angle that down. All right, so this piece right here, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there is a hole. See that little hole right there? Little focus. That black piece has to line up with that hole so that you can take your cotter pin. And your cotter pin, let me bring it closer. Your cotter pin should be able to fit in like that. Nice and easy. Shouldn't be too hard to get in. So once you fit that in, put that back up. Once you fit that in, means you're clear to then take it. I'm just making sure this is tight. So bolt's tight, cotter pin's fitting in, and now all you need to do is bend these two over like this. Just like that. And once you get that over, wait, let me bend it a little bit more. Don't want to like accidentally hit my finger, but there we go. Kind of just flatten that out. All right, once that's on there, nice and tight, as in the bolt, the cotter pin doesn't really matter. As long as it's in there and it's not going anywhere, then you're good. Then you're gonna take, well, still recording? Good, all right, turn it off, the screen turned off for a sec. Oh, jeez, I have dropped this thing so many times. Okay. This thing, put it on. Okay, now this is the part where we put the wheel on. Put everything on there except for the wheel. Over here, get the wheel, get our tools out of the way. I don't want to put the wheel on our tools. And let's see here, we line this thing up and put it on. I gotta jack it up a little bit. It's not going in. There we go. All right. Now, we take our screws, and that's one. That is two. That is three, and that right there is number four. So I tighten them up by hand, and then we're going to switch over to our 3 1/4. There it is. Wait, no, sorry, not 3 1/4. 11/16. Right there. Where does it show it? Right there. 11/16. Pop that on a socket wrench, and just tighten that thing up. All right. Well, not tighten them up too much yet. Don't like tighten. You're just gonna get them. You're just gonna get them on there, so they don't move. Kind of where you start to feel tension. And then once you start feeling tension on all of them, you're going to. Oh, sorry. You're going to drop the jack. And now you're going to give them a good tighten. Now, for me, best way to do this is to get them set like this and then just push down on them. That seems to be the easiest for me. Or you do this and pull up. You guys see that? All right, good. Yeah. And just pull up like that. There's one. So these should be by no means loose. These should be tightened as much as you can. until you literally can't tighten them anymore. I can promise you that I'm strong enough to tighten this thing till it won't come off. So don't worry, not dangerous. These are on there. I'm pretty confident as much as I'm gonna be able to tighten them because these things aren't moving anymore. Alright. That should be it. In total, this process will probably take about 10 minutes. This one probably took longer because I was recording, so this recording might not be 10 minutes. But, let me turn this off. That is all you need to do. Loosen this thing out, pull this thing out, and the tire should be on there. Nice and tight. So yeah, that should be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did like it, oh, there's no light here. If you did like the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos with the ATV or the other things that I post on my channel, like paintball, stuff like that. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.